What is going on, everybody? Good morning, great morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm glad we're here together. Great morning, everyone. So happy to be here with you as we get ready to take a look at the markets. And we have a very, very interesting morning planned ahead of us. Let's get into it. Let's start. Let's take a look over here. We can see the equity markets up about 0.5%, a little bit more, looking good over there. We go down to the dollar. We see the dollar is a little bit unchanged, a little bit of pressure on the dollar. We're going to look into that in just a moment. We see gold and silver bid kind of leading the way over here. And we see Ethereum and Bitcoin. The only thing that looks a little bit red, slightly red, right? JP Morgan says that's it. That's it for Bitcoin. Look, we got the alts pumping over here. We were focusing on this yesterday during the live stream. And then in the afternoon, you saw my focus towards the end of that video was all on these alts over here. They're pumping, you know, and then wait. What did I want them to start off with? Something. I don't know. We'll find our way. Are we still buffering? By the way, I started this using a VPN connection somewhere in the world. I took that off during the morning intro. I think we're set to go over here right now. I think we're ready. It's a grand morning. All right, everyone. We had on the calendar today, we had a CPI and Fed and Powell speaking today. Both of those things, non-events, in my opinion. I didn't even, just to let you know over here, I haven't even refreshed the page for a while since setting that up this morning. The numbers came out about 38 minutes ago, and they came in over here. They came in basically as expected. That's 8 months in a row we've seen consumer prices rising. 8 months in a row, but there must be no inflation. 8 months in a row. You can see over here, by the way, just to dig in, just to give you a brief, you see yields come off a little bit on the news over there. Always stay away from market reactions right around the print itself. But what you see over here is the dollar coming off a little bit. You see over here the continued rise of inflation. But over here, they say that, look, you had rent inflation and shelter inflation down. They're at the lowest in 10 years. I don't know, maybe if you live in San Francisco or New York, you're seeing your rent and mortgage prices decline a little bit. But everywhere else in the world, I'm not really getting that feeling. I love how they do these numbers over there. Powell's a non-event. Powell's a non-event. We don't need to be watching the calendar over here. What we need to do is be watching the charts. Let's get into the charts. Let's look at the dollar over here. The dollar being rejected by the resistance over here. I was watching what would happen coming into this trend line over there. It just went through like butter and continues to drift down right now. Dollar near the lows of the session. If I pull up over here Brad's chart, you can see it took out that support over here at 90.46. It kind of retested it already. You can see the spike up there. CPI is out now. What are we looking at next now? The next bit of support, by the way, coming in at 89.80. This trend line support. It's a big one. That will be a big event if we get up there. I want to just briefly fast forward over here. This is on the videos. This was the video that was released over here. Let's see, right over here, King Dollar, critical level. This was released, I think, on January the 6th, January the 5th. Okay, and in this video, this was the first video I put out in the new year. And in this video, I was very clear about this channel that the dollar was trading in, the significance of it. Do you remember the dollar was trading all the way down here at that point at 89.50? And I said, well, you know, we could come as far as this support, but in this area down over here, we should then, it would be reasonable to bounce back up and test that trend line, break down, retest, resumption down would be a big move against the dollar over here. That's what's happened since, right? That's what's happened since, and you can see it very clearly over here, that perfect retest of the trend line coming back down now. Dollar continues to be weak. Stocks are loving it. Stocks continue to print upwards in that slow upward trend, except for, of course, when, you know, they're at that risk of that insolvency event. The markets might crash this week. Right. So anyway, slow drift up. We're not watching for any type of peak yet on the markets. We're going to have to see, and just so everyone is aware of it, as it's happening, you're going to know how amazing, how wonderful to actually feel that kind of control in the markets. I don't know, maybe prior to spending all this time together, you guys and girls had that type of knowledge. But a lot of people are just seeing the matrix a lot clearer. If we get any type of movement like this over here, like this over here, like this over here, at that point, that will be concerning for us. And that's when I will sound a little bit of a warning sign against the equity markets. But right now, they seem and continue to be on autopilot. That's the S&P printing new all-time highs over here. Is the Nasdaq also. Dow, oh, boom, love it. Look at that. And the Russell continues over here to outpace everything. Is this like a 15% gain? Is this an altcoin? What's going on over here? This is a 15% gain over here in just a few sessions. Trading like an altcoin, the Russell 2000, building off of all of that. And that's right, Gene. I don't know if this is a reference to what I'm talking about over there, but you have to have that. You have to have that patience of a predator. You got to wait for the right time to attack if you're looking to attack, right? Head snacks in the house. Head snack. It's a taco day. Love the work, brother. I don't see him, but love the work anyway. Thanks, Alan, for smashing that like button, getting going here this morning. If you're new here, welcome. Everyone else, lots of love. Welcome back. Here we go. What else are we looking at over here? We got the dollar. The index is covered. Let's take a look at gold coming towards some area of resistance. You see it up here. Follow this trend line over here. This is the most important resistance to be tracking right now, as it was just in play right over here last week. We're coming into that area and horizontal resistance at 1865, right? Clearing above that, by the way, that opens the door over here to test this outer band of resistance. And above there, gold starts taking off, right? So just be careful. This was the time to buy. That circle was there waiting for you. For a week, that circle was there waiting for you. Price came in, filled. What do you do now, right? Stop loss back at break even. Is gold the place you want to be? Everyone here knows my feelings on that. Let's talk about silver, right? As gold is getting close to that resistance, you can see silver also into some resistance over here. A break above. Do we then take out the 2021 high we just put in last week? Taking out the 2020 high, and above here, above $30, are we looking at a straight run? You understand when I use the word straight. I don't mean vertical. But are we looking at a run at the all-time high on silver in 2021? That was one of the things I've been watching ever since going into last year, talking about that repeatedly. Does this Silvergate ever stop? Does Silvergate ever stop its vertical move over here? You guys educated me clearly on Silvergate. The bank behind BlockFi. I'm a huge supporter of BlockFi. I absolutely love their service. There's a link below, by the way, the only place that I buy Bitcoin. Silvergate, Kraken, the bank behind crypto space, largely in the US, is just continues to push its vertical move up over here. Jordan, yesterday's live stream, it should not be even on YouTube. It was so good. And then another shout out to Head Snack. Love the Conquering the Market song over there. Tesla versus MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy and Green over here. Both these have Bitcoin now on their balance sheet, right? Now, MicroStrategy, by the way, they started with what, $1.3 trillion? Or they have $1.3 trillion. Tesla 1.5, but MicroStrategy holds more Bitcoin. Who is going to be next? That's the question out there. Who is going to be next to join the party? JP Morgan says, listen, Bitcoin got a nice little boost from its allocation of its cash reserves to Bitcoin, but probably we're not going to see any other mainstream corporations do the same. So JP Morgan is saying we're not going to see any other corporations do this. It's not going to be Salesforce, right? It's not going to be Oracle. They don't think that we're going to see any. And they say either way, right now, that helped retail. By the way, when it comes to Bitcoin, retail has been the most correct on the trade for the longest amount of time. So when some investment bank who, is known for saying, yeah, Bitcoin is a scam, right? When some Jamie Dimon, I don't like Bitcoin, right? So, retail is the one who's got it right. They're saying, well, retail flows are going to increase because of that news. Make of it what you like over here. Look over here, JP Morgan talking down Bitcoin to its clients, always trading against their clients. JP Morgan over here, Bitcoin rise 50% in just a month. Man, could you imagine being on the wrong side of that trade over there? You could see once JP Morgan talked down Bitcoin to its clients, you saw the short exposure rise over there. Huh. Interesting. Down over here, though, is something I wanted to share with you. Let me find it. Ray Dalio, I'm not a fan. Ray Dalio, Bridgewater, right? Largest hedge fund in the world. Ray has changed his mind on Bitcoin. It took him a while. I can't imagine having access to those type of resources, because we have access to the internet ourselves, and we're able to kind of see the picture, put the dots together, and understand the most important trade. It took Ray a while, right? In the last few weeks, he's pivoted, he's changed his mind, but Bridgewater's getting set to start a whole new fund, and they're looking at the devaluation of the dollar, the devaluation of money and credit, and they're going to be looking at Bitcoin as an escape route. Think about that. How long before Bridgewater announces they bought Bitcoin, and how much? And once Bridgewater goes in on Bitcoin, how many other funds are going to have to FOMO in after? When is that race going to begin? Is it going to be above $100,000? We'll find out. That's what we do over here. We will find out. Maybe Tesla's going to add Cardano to their balance sheet. Oh, what do you think about that? I jest. I joke. We don't need to. We have Brandon on Crypto Trades and Tech putting out lots of early work on Cardano. Back over here when Cardano was trading at 10 cents, Brandon had his eyes on $1, right? So everyone, and by the way, it's not just Brandon over here. right? Over here, we have, this was just posted yesterday in the Discord. A huge thanks to Heath, Brandon, right? Trade Talk, Crypto Trades and Tech, and Alan for the continued insight and intel. The work that Alan continues to provide, is just absolutely phenomenal, as well as Heath and Brandon, and all of them working in unison. It's a pleasure and an honor to be working alongside all of you all the time. Jordan, love the info. Appreciate the help tremendously. How do I learn more? Listen, watch out for scammers. There are people replying to me all day long. The moderators are absolute heroes. Thank you so much. Absolute heroes, because I'm fighting spam all day, and they are as well. And they do a phenomenal job. Stefano just giving the, like, that's not Jordan responding to you. If Conquer Trading Investing is not grayed out, highlighted, that's not Jordan. You could always click on it and check the surpriser account. Listen, Jordan's official name is highlighted in gray. Don't fall for this. Thank you. I was at work. I wasn't looking closely. How do I learn more? Come over to the website below. In the description of this video is my course and training program. Join us all. Start digging in closer to the community, working with me and the rest of us. Jordan, I owe you a big thanks for keeping me on the right side of many trades. When your charity is up and running, please let me know. I would love to donate some money to it. And then Dylan also, I agree. Thank you as well. Would love to do that. That's a lifelong dream. It's going to happen. I hope it happens this year. Thank you all for your continued support. I talk about often, people that are kind of on the wrong side of the trade. I saw this video yesterday. If anyone is interested, you can find it on Cambridge House, right? And it's Max Kaiser. Oh, but Max, I don't like Max. You know what? Listen, I listen to people who are correct and are able to articulate something in a way that helps me understand it more. Listen to what Stacy and Max have to say. If you're looking for some good, to increase your overall knowledge about the markets, watch this interview over here on Cambridge House International with Max and Stacy. By the way, I'm going to play a 30-second clip over here about him talking about MicroStrategy and what happened, because again, I love people who are able to articulate things that help me learn and understand them better. And I want to share that with you. I want you to see how I think so that you're able to kind of take what you can from that and integrate it to your own self, right? When it comes to the markets, I want to teach you to do what I do, and that's happening. I see it, everyone that's part of this community. I see it. Here we go.
He did the deep dive, and he is a rocket scientist and runs a technology company. So, he knows how to do his due diligence. And after a couple of years, he emerged as this huge buyer on MicroStrategy's balance sheet. And his use case is that it's a reserve that, unlike the dollar, is not losing 20% due to inflation every year. And so that's what drove him to put it on his balance sheet. And at the time, my thought was that this is remarkable because everybody else in corporate America was looking at that money printing from the Fed and saying, hey, why don't we use that cheap money to buy back our own stock?
Right.
And we've seen this all over corporate America, right? From Apple Computer, the biggest of the companies, all the way down. Executives use that cheap money from the Fed. They buy back their own stock. Their stock options, their executive stock options go up by thousands of percentage points, and they're making lots and lots of money. So Michael Saylor could have done that. But Michael Saylor is saying, you know what? I'm going to...
So really interesting what he's saying over here, and it's true. Instead of stock buybacks, Michael chose to take that cheap money from the Fed and buy Bitcoin with it. Absolutely brilliant. But Max goes on to talk about over here how George Stanley Druckenmiller. So I haven't got a chance to watch that interview I talked about with you, but I plan on doing that. I like listening to Stanley speak over there. Stanley Druckenmiller taking down the Bank of England, the central bank, right, of England, took it down with George Soros. Max makes the comparison to what Michael Saylor is doing here about that attack on the Bank of England, obviously more directly towards the central banking system and the Federal Reserve of New York. How funny, the Federal Reserve of New York is a private institution held by foreigners that people believe is anyway. So anyway, really good interview. I highly recommend it. There was something else said that I wanted to share with you over here. Max is talking about something very interesting, talking about the risks. What could go wrong with Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin a bubble? Central banks begin to fail in 2021. Max saying or believing that you're going to see the ECB fail this year in 2021. Now, they're not going to call it a failure. He explains what. This is a great interview. I believe this is something that you should be watching. Out of interest, I want to see what I have this set to over here to see if I want to share with you. Before I do that, a couple of questions. The website, inaccessible only for me. I did maintenance this morning. Right before going online, it was working on my end. You might need to clear your cache. I'm not sure, but it will be back up for sure in just a little bit. Thank you so much, Neil. I appreciate that. I saw that very much. There was something else I saw I wanted to share with you, but I don't know. Anyway, here we go. Let's see what this says, and then we'll continue.
Month or two after the U.S. went off the gold standard, and I think we've kind of given up. I don't think there's anything a Joe Biden administration can do to rescue the dollar. And the dollar is all that matters, right? That's all that matters in the current paradigm. China's doing their own thing. They're stockpiling gold. They're probably stockpiling Bitcoin. I know they seized 200,000 from a Ponzi scheme operator, 200,000 Bitcoin. Who knows what they're going to do with that? But
right. This is an interview. I want to share that with you. You should all watch that interview. So what else? This is another one I'm watching over here. Same as this came up afterwards. Cambridge House, again, interviewing Raul. Raul's still looking for an insolvency event. It's been about a year now, right? But he's got Bitcoin right. Raul has got Bitcoin right. So it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. He's on the right side of the most important trade, and that's what's happening. Something else I was watching over here in Real Vision. Is everything a bubble? What's wrong with that? Something over here. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the charts. I want to share with you what I'm watching. This is brilliant. This, by the way, is brilliant over here. This guy, who's, by the way, invested in nickel and copper. This guy, right? They ask him about Bitcoin. You have to listen to what he says, and then we'll move forward with the rest of the show.
People get up in my face about this Bitcoin thing. I'm like, yeah, it's great. I mean, I've had some trades in the Bitcoin space, it's good, but it's not what I do, I mean, it's not. And also I got to tell you, there's going to be Fed coin. Okay. It's not going to be private money. I mean, you lost your mind. Like, what do you think these guys are just going to give you private money? Why don't you have a
okay, so I remember going with this guy. Anyway, he's saying Bitcoin. What? Yeah, I made some trades in the Bitcoin. Right? Listen, if you're not invested in Bitcoin right now and you don't understand what's going on with the 4-year cycle, you are so far out of the game. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But he's right about FedCoin. He's right. It's coming to every country. And he's right. It's going to be total dystopian future. He's right about all that. Total control. People see that. They're missing the most important trade that happens and the exit. Raul talking about in that interview with Cambridge, he believes the peak of the Bitcoin cycle is going to be in early 2022. He believes it's going to be in early 2022, a lot longer than the last cycle. I guess he believes in lengthening cycles. So many people who understand the trade are on the right side still do not understand the timing of Bitcoin, the way that we see it, the way that we do it. What we have going on here is very special, very special. All right. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to share with you what's exciting to me, because I believe it's helpful informing my mind, and that's what I want to do with you all. Let's take a look at what else is going on. We've already covered the equity markets. That's all good and fine. We looked at the DXY. Thank you so much. Someone noticed that was some of my best work in 2020, and just thank you. Thank you. Jordan, will we still be able to exit Bitcoin near the top of institutions are used? They're not. So it's a great question, Mike. You could see that people do not have the awareness that we have. And at the top of the Bitcoin bull market, at the top of the cycle, everybody's going to say this time is different. Hyper Bitcoinization is taking place. They'll call it a super cycle because they reworded it. And they're going to say this time is different, just as they did in the peak of the last bull market. And you're going to have people who know a lot about Bitcoin. People who know, like Matt Odell, guy is, a beast when it comes to security, to just game theorying it out. Listen, he back in the last, he thought Bitcoin was going up to $1 million. It's going to happen again. Now I don't know if that number is correct, but you guys get my point. Thank you. What about oil? What about oil? Anyway, here we go. So what else are we looking at? Yeah, let's take a look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Thank you, Giles. Let's get into it over here. Let's get into some charts, keep myself sharp. And then I'm going to look across the FX markets. I'm going to look across these altcoin pairs and some altcoin US dollar pairs as well. 555 likes. I got 474 on my end. Either way, anyone who smashed that like button this morning, thank you so much. Where do you find this? It's on Twitter, on Having Tracker. Right there, Having Tracker. You can find these charts. They're updated. I don't know. I catch them every few days. Every few days. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. What's going on? Right. Let me just come back over here. Let's start on the daily time frame today, just to get that bigger picture of what's going on over there. Big breakout of that trend line. Oh, how much I love those multi-year breakouts over there. Right. Since then, coming up into this area of resistance is big resistance. All right, you could see this area of resistance coming back all the way back towards 2017, 2018. Let's go back to the 8-hour. Let's see what's going on over here as we're coming into the resistance, right? Obviously not a place that you're looking to pick up more, to take a trade right now. You don't buy into resistance. It's a strong uptrend going back to when the Fed interacted. It's a huge, strongly uptrend. It looks like it's trying or wants to take out this resistance. I believe it's going to happen. I'm not looking for an insolvency event. I'm not looking for the markets to crash. By the way, talking about best trades of 2020, S&P 500, right? When the markets start crashing, I'll be there, right? Just as I was over here, ahead of everyone, and I'll be there and I'll crush it, right? But the markets are not crashing right now. I'm not looking for an insolvency event. I don't think that the markets are going to crash. When they crash, we'll be there. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Are we going to break above this? If we break above it, it opens up a whole new trade. I don't see anything right now coming into that resistance, Giles. I don't see anything right now. What about the Australian dollar, US dollar? We've been tracking this one over here, still pushing. Still, right? You guys, this is the trade last week that we looked at as it was unfolding, as it was happening. As we come into here, we're talking about taking 40% off. We're getting close. Right? We're getting close. So just keep in mind as we look at all these pairs in FX, what's going on with the dollar. I need to look at Brad's chart 1 second. We have a bit of ways into next bit of support, I see. Now, there is some support right over here at 90. It's light support. You can see where it was forming over here, some touches over here and here. There's light support over there, but this trend line is the bigger support, and that's coming in a little bit lower at 88.80. Could we see a little bit possible move continued against the dollar? It looks like it, unless we trade back above this resistance now at 90.47, right over here, that green line, that broken support as resistance, then we're looking at further pressure on the dollar. So that looks pretty solid. I want to go to the pound US dollar because I know that the pound is up. That's not what I want to do. Let me come back over here and go to my charts to look at the pound. Let me go. By the way, yes, thank you, Eric. There's no spamming here. This community is special, and it's special for a reason, right? Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going with the show, and then we'll figure that out. But anyway, got out of the flow. Pound US dollar. We've been tracking and are very aware of what's going on with that slow appreciation of the pound, right? Ever since the new year. Look at that trend line break again. How I love my multi-year trend line breaks. This one coming back all the way to 2008, I believe 2007. Here's a touch over here in 2014. Finally breaking out of there. We just took out this resistance. That's a big deal. This opens up opportunity, right? Because we're going to come in now that we've broken this resistance. We're looking for a retest, resumption off. That's a good place to enter this trade. Let me go ahead and flip that to green. I'll continue to watch and track this one over here. And what are we targeting over here? It's on the pound, Japanese yen. I'm going to flip to next, right? By the way, we got some big resistance up higher, 400 pips up higher, right? Pound US dollar continuing to shine and look good over here. Pound Japanese yen. This is the other one that I've been tracking over here, right? This is the one. This is on the daily time frame. I'm watching things with you, right? We got big resistance coming up towards here. I'm going to put it in right now at 147.15. Let me get that into the chart. Bro, I gotta hold on. Raid, you got to go, brother. First and only warning. That's it, buddy. He's gone. Sorry about all that. I have to watch the charts. I can't really watch the chat unless we're hanging out together, having fun. But he's gone. Anyway, enough said. Horizontal line over here, 147.15. Paying attention, keeping focused on what's important. There we go. And that's resistance to worry about as we get closer. That looks like what we're targeting next over here on the pound Japanese yen, on their way towards this trend line over here, this 155 horizontal resistance and that trend line. Are we going to do it? It looks like it to me. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen into some resistance over there. Okay. So what I'm seeing right now this morning, I'm seeing opportunity against the dollar, right? The first thing, that Australian dollar, US dollar trade, obviously that's going on since last week. Pound US dollar continues to be something to very, very focused on. Pound Japanese yen. This is what's interesting to me. Let's look at the Euro US dollar, which has not been for a while interesting to me. What do I make of it? What do I see? Yeah, nothing, right? Not really too much. So when something's not interesting, I just kind of avoid it and don't take up too much time and or space. Let me go over. That's a pretty good feel. I feel I'm pretty confident. I want to look at the US dollar, Japanese yen before I get into all coins. This is kind of interesting over here. We were seeing that push. All right, let me clean this up with you. It's been a while since I looked at it, so let me clean it up with you. The last time we were focused in on this, I caught it late. I was focused in between this trend line resistance and this support, and we were caught up in here. It wound up breaking out to the upside without me, right? Which is fine, but it did. All right, let me just clean this up a little bit. And now since then, look what's happening. We've broke out this resistance. This is what the market's focusing on. I need to focus what the market's focusing on, right? On the way up was this bit of resistance. Did the market pay attention to it? Because it's a good line. Well, it spiked into there, came back up. Definitely keep that in there. But I want to focus on what the market's focusing on as well. I'm going to move this resistance down over here. All right? Yep. No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to move it between the two. Where I wanted to put it, where I thought the market's focusing, where I had it, I just put it in the middle between the two, and I like that line of resistance better. And that's it. So what do you do now here? Is this actionable? Are you looking to buy off this line of support down over here, right? Is that something that you're interested in taking? Do you think that the US dollar is going to continue to appreciate versus the Japanese yen here? Dollar not looking great. We looked at that technically. We understand what's going on, right? But the yen is as weak as can be as also. Weakness versus weakness, I'm not really interested. If we saw the dollar on the DXY breaking back above, by the way, back above that last bit of broken resistance we saw, it's on Brad's chart. I don't have it up on me right now. So anyway, we'll do it tomorrow. It's not happening right now. We'll do it tomorrow anyway. There was a big sponge, right? I'm on the Bitcoin, but have friends that want in. They have real problems getting ID verification on stages, waiting over a month. Any advice? Yeah, my advice to you is right now, that's a terrible avatar, by the way. That's an absolute terrible avatar. You got to change that. You have to absolutely change that. It's terrible. Yeah, right now, you yourself want to have as many on-ramps and off-ramps as possible. People don't understand why I said that. I've been saying that for a while. You got to have as many on-ramps and off-ramps as possible. Why? Because you never know what's going to happen. And you have to have options. And you have to do it ahead of time, not when you need it. So that's what you got to do, right? What could they do? You got to be creative. There's always ways, right? So anyway, that's not for me to talk about. What's going on over here? What else? Let's take a look at some cross pairs. Ethereum, Bitcoin we'll start with. Before we do, Bitcoin right now pulling back just for a little bit of awareness. The last time that we broke out of 19,000, right? Our last pullback breakout of 19,000. How far was that pullback? Sorry, I'm doing this for my own benefit over here. This was only 16.5% pullback, right? Once we broke out of 19,000, we spiked up, like we just spiked up. we consolidated for a week and kind of sideways with, I think, a 10% pullback, right? This is a 10% pullback for a week. So far, we've been consolidating now for about a day and a half with a 7% pullback. Did we go down any further overnight, right? Yeah, 8% pullback. So, listen, I'm not trying to say, because this is what happened here, it's going to happen over here, but have that awareness about you. After that big spike up, we know that we're targeting right now somewhere around $70,000 next, right? Are we going to see this consolidate for about a week before rising up? And as long as it stays within that range of about 8 to 12%, is that entirely healthy? Have that awareness. Why Bitcoin is consolidating here. Does that mean that's going to happen? No, I mean, I'm kind of laying out what I believe might be one of the worst cases. Is it possible that Bitcoin is able to resume off here? Yeah, but that would be coming up pretty high and steep. Also notice over here, if you put this trend line over there, how often we came back to that trend line. Do you have a new trend? Oh, let me make that really pretty for you right now because I'm going to keep it up there. Let me make this really pretty. Thank you. Yeah, commodities are doing great, right? Kips, good to see you. We haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I mean, commodities are really doing great in this inflationary environment. Up about, what do we look at copper over here, right? What's copper since the Fed acted? From the very bottom, up 90%. Right, since the summer over here, what are we looking at over here on copper? Right, 34% since August on copper. What about nickel? Nickel's been also humming along, coming above this resistance of the channel over here. Since the low over here, we're looking at nickel 68%, not outperforming copper, but hey, it's up 68%. And since the summer, also doing pretty good over here. Let's go back. This is around August. Be generous on that. You know, up 27%. It's pretty good. Pretty good. What about Bitcoin during those time horizons? What about Bitcoin since the Fed acted over here? That's where we were, making sure everyone was understanding that's cheap Bitcoin and what was happening next over there. Wow. Does that say 1,164%? Wow. What else? What about since the summer? What about since August? Right? Since August, what? 348%. All right. Let's keep it focused where we should be focused on what's important and what matters. Ethereum, Bitcoin. So you got Bitcoin coming back down over here, right? And we are looking for that consolidation over there. We got Ethereum, right? Ethereum down, outperforming Bitcoin over here, down 1.71%, right? Thank you, Gene. So happy to share with you always, right? Platinum, I don't need to do. It's the same thing, right? If you're looking at it's the same thing we just looked at. Copper is more generous, right? Copper was being generous, looking at that 89% gain over there, right? If I look at platinum, palladium, whatever, right? So let's go over here to Ethereum. Ethereum right now, all-time highs last night into price discovery over here, pulled back into that last bit. It looks healthy, trading a little bit firmer than Bitcoin. If you look at Ethereum, Bitcoin, we're getting ready for a breakout over here or a resistance, but you're at a critical point. Getting above this right here, that resistance I have, that horizontal line at 0.03968, that's what you're looking for, right? That's the breakout of that trend line. That's the big breakout of this consolidation and that resistance. Then we could see Ethereum leading the way up, perhaps. Now, I didn't know what was going to happen when I was taking a look at Aave with you yesterday, and I was saying that, just talking about the fact that, are we going to see altcoins appreciate versus Bitcoin here now, showing that they were pulled back, 28, 32%. Gene was right when Gene just said, hey, listen, Bitcoin and price discovery, it's scary because Bitcoin could have massive moves up that you'll see alts, melt in the face of until Bitcoin starts consolidating again. And that's correct. You have to have that awareness about you. But nevertheless, here's what happened. We bounced up. We're into that resistance. Still haven't broken out yet. Could they be rejected here? Of course. It's not just Ethereum, Bitcoin, Aave Bitcoin into that resistance again after bouncing about 30%. This is, I don't want to look versus the dollar. This is dot Bitcoin. Same thing we're looking at. How good is that line? I don't know. Holding the support, looks like it's getting ready to break out, but it hasn't yet. All of them into resistance right now. What about Chainlink, the lagger, right? Chainlink, the lagger compared to everything else we're focused in on over here. That's fine. What about Cardano? Boom. And you never know. I never know. We have a good feeling. We have some select favorites that we like to watch, right? And if I were making a basket of altcoins, these are the ones that would be included in my basket. But from a day to day, which ones are going to be pumping? Cardano right now is all about it. I'm not into the specifics at all, zero, about what's going on Cardano or any other project, right? And if you're interested in that, Brandon is putting out some fantastic work. You can find it off my YouTube channel, off the homepage. Down at the bottom, you have Trade Talk and Crypto Trades in Tech. Brandon, again, was very early on this, very early, as was Alan on DOT. Alan was what brought everyone's attention to DOT as it was just breaking out over here. This was way back in December, I believe. All right, so where else does that bring us? I feel like just that off 6%. Is that opportunity or what is that, right? It looks pretty healthy. It looks pretty good to me. Where does that bring us? I feel like I have a really solid and good read on the markets. Let's take it off. Let's turn to a Friday. Ask me anything. Let's see what's going on with all of you. I feel pretty comfortable where I am, right? Thank you, Iron. That's what we do here, and it's a pleasure. Yeah, is oil overextended? Listen, being someone who's been so dialed in, been all over the oil trade, not only in 2020, right? But also, where is I can't even find oil. It's been so long since I looked at it, right? Remember breaking out of this channel, and I pointed us to where we're going. We're here now. We're just $1 off of my ultimate target on oil, breaking out of the channel. So what do I think? I think oil goes higher. It's a commodity. There's a massive amount of money sloshing around the system. It's not about demand. The world is basically on lockdown, right? It's not about oil demand. It's about fake money, and where does that fake money go? So, what about that? How about the trend lines on Bitcoin? Let me come back to Bitcoin. I didn't get that in. Thank you. Right. So I wanted to add in this trend line over on Bitcoin, following it going forward. By the way, this was the last time we broke out, right? Followed this trend line over here. This kept us in that trade that whole time. A trend line over here now is looking like this, right? Steeper, more powerful to the upside. That's what we're looking at. A break below there, that would get us a little bit cautious of some sideways price action, or perhaps we're seeing that bigger 30% drawdown. But right now, this all looks good. Best case scenario, by the way, is that we just go sideways back towards this line. That would be a place, I think, from where we bounce up next. This is not really such healthy price action. Bitcoin goes straight up for here. Could it happen? If it happens, what I'll be doing is this. I'll be adding another line that looks like this. It's more of my parabolic trend line, and I'll be watching how long that holds. And when that holds, then I'll be looking for price to go sideways and or down. But thank you for that reminder. I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to follow this in the sessions ahead, in the week ahead. And this is going to, or weeks ahead, I should say, probably. And that's going to provide a really useful to myself. Let me go ahead and just make this a little bit less noticeable on the chart over here. Now that we've passed this stage masterfully. Jordan, everyone says, Jordan, look at this chart, but nobody looks at Jordan and says, Jordan, how are you? We love you, Jordan. Josh, yeah, you guys definitely send your love each and every day. I'm entirely grateful for it. Yeah. Again, I don't know. There's a lot of people I know. Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow. I was thinking last night, I was thinking this morning what the topic of discussion was going to be, what the theme was for tomorrow's trading session. We're just coming off of last Thursday's How to Push Your Trades. That's what the one we used, the Australian dollar, US dollar as an example. Then we're coming off the week before, Bitcoin trading lightly leveraged. We'll see either which way. Sometime today, I'll be sending out an email, posting in Discord about tomorrow's training session. It will be at 10:30 a.m. right after this live stream. And what the topic will be well, I'm just going to be open and see what the market shows me, and that's what I'll focus in on. That's what I'll focus in on, right? How do you? No, Trader M. It's not that. It's how I see Bitcoin. Is how I see Bitcoin. I really. And if you haven't seen the video, by the way, hold on one second. Let's pull it up over here. Well, just go back. The video was posted on Sunday. If you haven't seen the video about Bitcoin, masterfully lightly leveraged, watch the video. Watch how I tell the story of Bitcoin in real time before it happens, and that's what you should follow. Right? So it's not like I'm not looking for a retest of 40 or 42 or 38 or anything like that. At all times, though, I am looking for at least a 30% drawdown. That takes me right now back into around 33,750, right? Could we have a bigger drawdown? Did we have a 39% drawdown last cycle? Taking this time now into 29,000, I feel a lot better. By the way, those CME gaps, they were made not to get closed. I was talking about that when Bitcoin was trading at like 9,500, that we will see many CME gaps not get closed, not get filled, right? So, but people didn't believe it at the time. A 38% buildback taking us back into 29,000. Is that possible? You should always be ready, mentally prepared. Is that the base case right now? Absolutely not. We've made the new high over here. We're into price discovery. We're at a time right now in this area that we're looking at for the next, I don't know how many days. I'm going to call it like 40, 50 days that we usually go straight up in past cycles. I think that's what's going to happen. I think right around here, this 325 days, I'm going to call it, right around between this peak and that peak, or 320 days. As we get closer, I'll tell you, right? About 2 months from now, that's when we're going to see our next pullback. I think we'll be around $70,000 when that happens. Is it possible that we're high? I don't know. That's not what I'm focused in on right now. Let's see. Does the lower retail interest in Bitcoin this cycle concern you? No, not at all. I see a higher retail interest than last cycle. I was involved in the last cycle. I see a much higher retail interest than in last cycle. Much higher, not even comparable. So Mike's taking a look at gold. Let's take a look at gold. Let me drop over back to the yellow shiny stuff, right? So you're looking at from May 2019. All right. So I'm coming over. I'm gonna go on the daily time frame to figure out what you're looking at. May 2009. Just having some fun. This is like a Friday chill session over here. Is this trend line helpful over here? Right? I mean, not for me. Right? Not for me. If we trade down over here by the end of April, end of March, and this is coming into play, is that something that you should be focused on? Of course, that's great. That's great. But we're far away from that right now. But yeah, if it comes into play later, not bad to look at all. Right? Why doesn't it does? So Eugene, it is showing. This is the cycle peak right over here. This is an 85% drawdown you're looking at from this peak to this peak. And this is an 84% drawdown you're looking at from this peak to this peak. So it is showing both the 85% bear market drawdown, and it's showing the 84% market drawdown. You're going to be Neo by the time we're done. You're going to see charts, and there's going to be like the Matrix, and you understand them. Yeah, Algo is not a project that I focus in on. What else are we looking at? Jumping up into real time over here. Jumping up to real time. Yeah, so I just got lucky. This wasn't me. We put this on our watch list over here. Right over here. It was trading right around $70, under 70, and then like it just popped. That's luck. That's nothing. That's nothing at all. But what do you do now, right? Look, anyway, I'm not gonna follow that. Right back at you, Vincent, and each and every one of you. That's as genuine as could be. What else is interesting? Yeah, it is. And so is Plan Bs. This is interesting. This is what I want to talk to you about over here. Speaking of interesting, right? You all know I love Plan B's stock to flow chart. I got to find it over here just so you understand what I'm looking at over here. Plan B. And let me just pull up his stock to flow just for those that don't know, now know. And there you go. Right, here's a version of it. I love this chart. And I don't love it for following stock to flow, right? I love it because it shows down over here in pretty colors how many more months to the next halving. And then that's gone ahead and put on the chart over here. This is the price, how many more months to the next halving, right? So one of the things that I like to look at over here, this is really interesting. This is probably the most important part of this today's show for myself. There's always, thank you. There's always little nuggets, you know. This is a heads up. Pay attention. This is what I'm focused in on. This is what I'm watching over here. You guys all know I'm very clear about 15 months to the next halving. This dark green, 15 months to the next halving. That's the cycle low over here. That's the accumulation phase over here. Let me show you on Bitcoin Tracker. That's this period from here to here. This period from here to here, and 15 months is the dead center. So it's really from like 18 months to 12 months. That 6-month period to the next halving, that's where you are accumulating for the next cycle, right? Now watch it on this chart over here. This is how many days until the next halving instead of how many months. Now I like to use a low time preference. That's why I'm using the monthly chart here, because I'm not looking to follow everything on such the pretty colors. I love the pretty colors. And it's true. But this is using days over here. What I'm looking at over here is that dark green area that I've shared with you. This is the cycle low over here, the accumulation phase, the accumulation phase. If I come back to where we are right now in the cycle, Bitcoin during that low over here, right? All right, so hold on. I'm not articulating this well. I personally believe as we get towards this area right over here, this color orange, right? Which is the same as this color orange right over here. As we enter this area, which is right over here, about 35 months to the next halving, right around there, that I'm going to be able to say, this is the bear market low. That this should be the accumulation phase in the next phase. So what the price of Bitcoin will be, if it's 50,000, I mean, it's 46,000 today, 45,000 today, or if it's going to be 70,000, I don't know what the price is going to be, but as we're there, I'm going to say, all right, I think this is going to be the bear market low. What does that mean for the upside? And if you take from here to here and from here to here, and you look at in the last previous cycles, we had about a 4x in both instances. So over here, price was trading, let's call it, well, let me find out exactly where it was trading, right? So I can't find, price at the end of the day, 3,700. Price at the end of the day, I'm going to call it 4,000 to make the math easier. We went up 5x to 20,000. What about in this cycle over here? Price is trading at $250, right? Price is trading at, I can't find it. I don't like this chart, by the way. 200, I'll call it 217, $250. It went up another 5x. So is it safe to say that it's possible as we come over here, as we get close over here, about 15 months, 35 months to the next halving, that we could say, okay, I think this is going to be the bear market low, and it looks like we have another 4 or 5x from here. So if Bitcoin is trading at $70,000, could we say that there's the possibility that $280,000, $350,000 Bitcoin seems to be where we're placing the top? Well, that's what I'm doing, and that's how I'm doing it and why I'm doing it, So either which way, could I get a thumbs up? Could I get a thumbs up? I mean, I guess you could find that information elsewhere. I would like to know where, but there it is. What else? What else? What else? It's Kenneth. It's the stock to flow link right over here. This one over here, by the way, is called Digity. I don't know. I'm just going to throw it in there. Here it is. Thank you. Thank you for that thumbs up over there. There's that link to that one. And then to Plan B's over here. Let me go ahead and, because you guys should be looking at these pretty charts all the time, like I do. But I do it with you. I mean, that seems to be if we're trading at, for example, $70,000 hint, hint. When we get there, then yeah, then 318 looks like it's an achievable target. We'll see. And we're going to follow it. A lot of people, looking for the Bitcoin top, the peak to be in 2022 and or a super cycle. A lot of people who are really heavily invested into Bitcoin are looking at not the places that we're looking at the time we're looking, right? So that makes you think, like, if you're part of this community and you're like, this just seems too easy. Everyone sees it. How could it even happen? You have to understand, other investors who are heavily invested are not thinking the same way at all. Very important, very important. 837 likes. I thought we were going to make it 1,000 this session. We're shy. That doesn't matter. That only means that tomorrow I need to come in a little hotter. I'm going to do it. That's for sure. Anyone have a good idea? I'll ask in Discord later again today, but anyone has a good idea for tomorrow's training session, let me know. I want to contemplate on that. That's what I'm going to be thinking about today. That would be absolute fire. By the way, all of your math, all of your positioning should have been done when Bitcoin was trading all the way down here. It was $7,000, $7,500, $8,000 when on this channel I began pushing everyone into the trade by articulating and making the presentation in case for Bitcoin on the Bitcoin playlist, right? And that was all the way back here in November. That was back in this area over here. This is when everyone in this area over here, that's when it all began. Everyone should have played this cycle so that if Bitcoin reaches 140,000, mission accomplished, all of their goals achieved. If we go up to 280,000, could you imagine the difference? So there it is. 922 likes. Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I love it. I love sharing with you. It's, by the way, it's this time that I share with all of you where I'm putting in my work, to make sure that I stay on the right side of the markets, on the right side of the trade. I do not believe that I don't understand how people could have like an investment thesis they stick to, even when they're dead wrong and it's as clear as day. And they're just like, well, it's going to happen. How do you pay the bills? I have no idea. Been in this game for over 20 years right now. I don't know how you could be on the wrong side of a trade for that long. I guess it gets you on podcasts. That might be the reason why. I don't know. But here we are. 965. I'm going to stay on until we get 1,000. Because I feel like what was shared here today deserves 1,000. Some of these videos, the one on the dollar and the DXY, January 5th, shared on this channel, it had like 10,000 views, and that's a lot of people who got privy to that information. But a lot of other people would do really well understanding that dollar analysis. A lot of other people, it would really benefit them. So 1,000 likes. You guys crushed it, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for really getting those likes up over there. Thank you. Guys, on that following what that 3 days comment was on, I would like to exit alts when we exit Bitcoin. Nick, there's a beautiful, you really enjoy it. Go to the Bitcoin playlist and look for the title, when to exit Ethereum and altcoins in the Bitcoin bull market phase. Because if you watch that video, Nick, you yourself are going to understand exactly when the exit is. And it's a little bit after Bitcoin, right? It's a couple of weeks after Bitcoin, but understand why. Understand that altcoins, their most explosive move happens those last 30 days or so. That's when they go ballistic. But you have to understand why. The only way that you can make the trade is if you yourself understand it. Why? Watch that video on the Bitcoin playlist about Ethereum and altcoin price targets so you know how to get out when it's time to get out of altcoins. Right? What else? Right, Gene, I have this one up here to watch later today. I talked about the text of that in one of our live streams this week, and it's amazing, right? Because Stanley talked about how he focuses in on the currency markets and why, because they're open 24 hours a day, right? How he stays away from equities, right? How when he sees a trade, he concentrates all of his wealth towards that one trade and that one idea, right? This is the trade that matters for myself, right? Right? Did I diversify? Let me diversify. Now, again, if you're into all coins, I think you should diversify. But I think what you should do is find out what the leaders of this cycle are projected to be, what we discern them to be, and take a basket of those coins like that. I think that's the way to do it. But yeah, Skeen, I'm gonna go through that. I don't know. I liked yesterday's video when I was sharing and editing a video and then responding to what was happening. I thought that conversation with Anthony Pompolano on Real Vision against Mike Green was really important and one that you all would like and benefit from. And if like Max today, Max and Stacy today, what they had to say, I feel it's very important. You know, same thing with Stanley. I don't know. Anyway, I enjoy it. That's what's important. But thank you, Gene. Thank you very, very, very much for that. What else? Quick question. When you're looking for a resumption after a retest, do we consider the high of the previous candle or the high of breakout? It's the high of the candle, Phil, at the right time of day. As it occurs, it's not after that price bar closes. Definitely invest in yourself. The course, it costs next to nothing. It's absolutely the great. You got to invest in yourself. Take it deeper, digging deeper to the group. Thank you, Jordan. Definitely. What else? Let me see. The weekly recap videos are great because they show the meat and potatoes of the course objectives. Thank you. I'm just reading some things over here. I'm trying to find out what else you guys are focused on. All right, too. That's a good one. And speaking of which, he said there are 3 or 4 trades that are clear. And by the way, Stan is wrong all the time. Stan has no problem being wrong because he just gets on the right side of the trade right away, right? Stan is not out there pushing a narrative. Stan is interested in being correct. It's the only way that he makes money, right? Huh? Where else have you heard that? Stan, you'll never hear Stan like getting caught like, oh, I've been on the wrong side for a year, but it's going to happen. Drunken Miller. No, that's not how he does it. If he's wrong, he gets right out. That's how he does it. I've talked about 3 or 4 trades a year that are very clear, very important. This one being one of them. Looking right here at gold, Bitcoin, on the favoring Bitcoin and favoring Bitcoin heavily. They are 2, tightly correlated assets. They serve the same purpose in sound money. One is just like 2.0. And listen, if you ever tried to travel and or move around gold or silver, you understand what I'm talking about right from the get-go, right? So if you are a gold or a precious metal investor or a commodity investor, should you be focused in on Bitcoin? How did you miss Bitcoin? If you're a precious metal investor, if you're a commodity investor, how did you miss Bitcoin? It doesn't make sense. You should be the first person that understands the value proposition for Bitcoin and what's happening. But this is one of those trades, I do believe, over here. Andreas, thank you, brother. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, Andreas. Big shout out. What else? Thank you, brother. And you listen. It's all shared. The amount of lives that have been changed. People now adding zeros to their balances. Right. It's all free. It all happens here together. Right. If you want to dig deeper into the community and be close, yeah, then go ahead and join the program. If not, this is all you need for sure. Yeah. Let's check out. Oh, semiconductors. By the way, I was reading something very interesting yesterday talking about in Taiwan how there's a huge semiconductor shortage around the world because of the lockdowns last year and the virus. I think it had to do also with perhaps the Chinese dealing with the Trump administration needed to stockpile semiconductors in case they were cut off from the system. That's my own 2 cents. Nevertheless, right now Taiwan, they're trying to open up a new plant to meet that demand. It's still about 6 months away, maybe five months away from them being able to do that. Look, I mean, that's a beautiful looking chart. Every single one of us see it. Every single one of us see that. What kind of drawdown is that? So 20% drawdown, right? Not as volatile as Bitcoin to the downside, not as volatile as Bitcoin to the upside. 20% drawdown, consolidation. There was the breakout, the retest, came in, made a swing high, came back in. This one held again. Now off into price discovery, new all-time highs. It's a beautiful looking chart, and not that I get behind stonks and what, but there's a real good, there's good demand here for good reason. Let's put it that way. There's good demand there for good reason. Thank you, Josh. May God bless you too. Thank you so much for being the blessing in my life, each and every one of you. Jen, this is TradingView, tradingview.com. Fantastic charting over there. If you want to see the Bitcoin playlist, watch every video in that Bitcoin playlist, and you will have a better understanding, in my opinion. Not technically, but as far as the 4-year cycle, and than anyone you walk into a room with in Bitcoin, including if it were someone like, anyway, I want anyway. What else? Stan is extraordinarily humble. I love how Stan, when he's asked about any question, he brings the attention to his wife. He says, what, he couldn't have done it without her. How well she nurtures that family. How she makes sure to spend time with each kid individually. Stan is a great guy. Great guy. Someone that, he's a legend to me. A legend in the space. Someone to really learn from. It was really focusing on Stan and George Soros. Now, obviously, anyway, I don't even need to get into that. But how they trade, how he trades, going all in when he knows to go all in. Absolutely important stuff over there. So what else? What gratitude is everything. Gratitude is everything. That's right. Thank you. That's right, Kips. Always listen to humble traders. Always listen to humble traders here. And especially for those that have every reason not to be and are. Especially for those that have every reason not to be and still are. Thank you, everyone, for this session. Thanks for being here with me today. Let's go out with some beautiful music over here. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a blessing to me. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.